Welcome to another episode of the Building Savages podcast. We're
Mhm.
trying to get better at this now, so like, subscribe, put your notifications on. We are releasing to YouTube and your streaming platforms, so you can now get this audio and video experience. So
Mhm.
make sure you definitely stay tuned because we will be dropping weekly, guys.
Like our shit. Press that
Hit
fucking button. You see that button
that
that says
fucking button.
subscribe? You subscribe to that motherfucker. Like help a brother out. Come on.
Hit that
That's all.
little bell. We'll
Yeah,
start getting really official where like the bell will
exactly.
pop up
With
in
the
the video.
bell. Yeah, with the bell. Like we'll get shirts that say subscribe. And then we'll kind of have a tagline, subscribe, motherfucker. Like whatever. But
Well,
yeah.
we was even talking before we recorded, and so we just dropped our first episode on YouTube because if you've been you haven't been following, but we've been recording this for a couple months now.
Yeah.
So in real time, we dropped our first episode last week, and we're probably up to like 20 subscribers now. So it'll actually be exciting when we're talking about this episode when this comes out and seeing
Yeah.
where the subscriber count actually will be at that time and even the views. Like so far our
Yeah.
channel has over 50 views.
Yeah.
So we've been right now just kind of spreading it out to our social media, email blast, our training group blast, things of that nature. And the goal is for this podcast to literally outgrow us to
Yeah.
where someone is just going to run into this one day and it's like, oh, episode 13, who are these guys? Maybe someone who's never heard of Simply Savage before, someone who's never heard of Building Beast before. And now we have a new audience that is going to join us on this listening experience. So we're super duper excited. Very good responses on the first video, and this is only going to grow even more.
Yeah. And like you said, I can't wait to talk about what everything looks like. And like we tell people all the time, just fucking start. Like we didn't know what it was gonna look like. We just dropped it and we were gonna be like, all right, maybe like I was hoping for 15. Like I was like, all right, cool. We got 15 people watching the first one. We got 37. And even though that sounds very small in the grand scheme of things, it's our first episode. We're basically fucking nobodies, but the content that we're providing, people are seeing value in it and want to watch our shit. So it's just like really, really cool. And we appreciate every single person that actually watched it, listened to it, gave us feedback. Cause we're still growing and it's cool that you guys get to watch us grow. I think that's also
Yeah,
very cool.
and it's an organic 37. You
Yeah.
know, it's not like a fluff 37 or
Hmm.
it's organic. The subscriber count is organic. Like it's people we know. When you
Yeah.
start looking into the actual list, it's like, oh shit, that's my man here or whatever, my friend here, my client here. So I'm like, all right, this is dope, man. We just start moving this thing.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
but the funny part is like watching the episodes in retrospect to where we are now, because now it's like you're looking at things, criticizing yourself even
Yes.
more, and
Yeah.
then it's like, damn, I was doing that.
Yeah.
It's like,
Like
all
the,
right, I
the
gotta
amount
nip
of the
that in
amount
the butt.
yeah, the amount of times I say, "Oh, that's interesting," pissed me the fuck off. And I was like, it's not really that interesting. It just happened to be like my cadence, and it happened to be kind of like that segue thing that I do. I was like, bro, I need to stop doing that. And it's cool because like that you can start getting a little bit better and start being conscious of the way that you speak. So it's podcasting is fucking hard. And anybody that tells
Not
you
as
anything
easy
fucking
as people
different
think it
is
is.
weird. Because like just for us to have the a talk for an hour, like it takes it out of us, even though we enjoy it, but like it's a long time to just fucking talk and talk about something interesting.
And you got to keep the conversation flowing. Like
Oh
there's
yeah,
not really much room to pause because someone listening in is gonna be like, okay.
exactly. Yeah, do I turn it off now? Like these motherfuckers weird. You know what I'm saying? We're both super introverted. We don't talk a lot, so like for us to do this is very weird for us. I think it's
I'm
very
kind
more
of
weird for
growing
me.
out of my introverted ways a little
Are
bit,
you?
man.
No, man.
A
I've
little
been home all day. I haven't talked to a single fucking person all day.
bit.
I was totally fine with that. Like somebody even sent me a voice message today. I was like, fuck. Yeah, you're getting a text back. I ain't fucking voice texting you back. No, like
I'm a
this is
little
this
new on the voice message thing. I'm still
bro.
trying to grasp it. It's
It's
like every
still
time I see it, I'm like, I feel like this is more work than actually reading the text.
it's so much more work. I don't understand why that's the thing. Like I have one client that's all he does is voice chat. I mean, like, bro, like I feel like that's just more work because I have to listen for 15 seconds instead of shorthand read and then I can shorthand text you back. Like,
Yeah.
like 15 seconds just turned into 3 seconds by me just texting you back. I don't understand that. Whatever. Maybe we're getting old. I don't know. Or I'm just I've just always been an old cranky motherfucker. So I just
You're just cranky, bro.
yeah, just keep going in that direction. I'm cool. Fuck it.
Gotta get with the times, dude.
Exactly. Gotta get with the fucking times. Get out of here with that. I don't even know. iPhone what is it? 15's coming out. I don't even know what fucking iPhone I have anymore. You know what I mean? Like they just keep ringing these iPhones fucking out. It's the same shit. The numbers are just different, and I don't even know what I have anymore. It just happens to be like a fucking iPhone.
Yo, the funny part is my cousin needs to upgrade because he had to upgrade his phone in mad long.
Mm-hmm.
So he was just like, man, my phone's been acting up, like it's not connecting well. And he was like, my 4G's been acting up. I'm like, 4G, bro? like they're on 5G right now. He was like, wait, that's a thing?
Bro, he's back in the single digit era, bro. He's got like the home button. Get the fuck out of here.
Talking about 4G. I'm like, bro, we're on 5G right now.
Bro, we're about to go on 6 soon. Like you're gone with the fucking times. Oh, that's fucking funny.
Fucking clueless. He's like, 5G, what is that? I'm like, holy shit, dude. You're only 3 years older than me.
bro, the fucking just imagine he go to like AT&T or Verizon or whatever like that, and like they go like, what the fuck is this? And it's like it looks like a fucking like to them, they like kids nowadays don't know what an iPod shuffle is or an iPod is. So like just imagine like people look at that shit, like, is that a button? Like what the, and like don't even know how the fucking functionality works.
I had
like,
a fucking Zoom. Nobody uses Zoom.
Oh, Zune. I remember Zune, man.
Me and like 3 other people.
Bro, like if you had Zune, you were fucking weird, but like it held more music.
It really did. Zoom was fire, bro.
Bro, Zoom was fucking Zoom was like short-lived, but I had one. No, my dad had one. He let me borrow it, and then it's like, all right, I like this shit. But like, I mean, you walked around with a fucking like a soup, like it was also like fucking thick. It was like carrying a fucking Game Boy, like around for music. Yeah, I mean, it was fucking thick.
I lost mine. I was mad because I just went to like the Slaughterhouse concert when they was like really big at the time or like bubbling, and they signed it for me. And then like a week later, I lost it.
Oh Jesus! All of them signed it.
4 of them signed
it. No, man.
I was tight.
Oh, and people, you don't know who Slaughterhouse is. Slaughterhouse used to be the fucking shit.
Fire.
That's also like an old fucking Zoom thing. Slaughterhouse is old too.
Seriously, 2010.
Yeah.
2011.
You may know Joe Budden. Joe Budden used to rap.
I started, I mean, they started probably around the time that I started my career. That's a good way for me to kind of gauge that.
Yeah. I mean, they all rapped before, obviously, and they came together probably like around like 2012, 10, something like that. Yeah. The long t-shirt era.
Yeah.
the move
where, like the t-shirts are long, but the jeans are getting skinny.
Oh my god, bro, that was so
weird,
stupid.
that weird period.
Yeah, out here I remember that transition. It used to be rough, and then all of a sudden you wore tight ass fucking shirts and had to do this shit all day, like, bro. It started jerking. Oh, bro, we're not even gonna talk about that.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother phase.
All right. Fun time is over, guys. Might have mostly just bullshit in the beginning of a podcast before.
that was good bullshit. Good bullshit. We're getting better at this. Thumbs up. Like and subscribe, motherfuckers.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe, guys. Notifications, hit that little bell, little ding.
Yeah, do all the things. We're
all the things.
Just all the things. We're still getting used to like the lingo, the YouTube lingo. Do the things. Yeah. Just do the things.
Do the things, guys. Speaking of do the things, that's what we are speaking of today. We are going into habits. Habits is something that a lot of us probably aren't aware of. And I feel like the more aware you are of your habits, the better you can control literally like your life.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm assessing somebody, I'm getting a rundown of obviously their movement screening, like I spoke about that before. But your goal is to fish for information. So one of my favorite things to do, especially like after I start working with people and then we just kind of do like shits and giggle conversations, I love talking about food. I love food too. But you kind of start listening to what your clients are saying and they don't even realize like they're doing it. And then you're just like, I understand how your life is like organized right now.
bro, bro. It would be surprised. Like it's
It's
always
so
surprising.
funny, yo.
Yeah, but like it's so funny to hear them like talk about all this stuff and then be like, I don't understand why I'm not losing weight. And it's like, so you had 7 beers and then like 16 wings and like you're just confused?
Yeah.
Like you confused?
On a casual Thursday.
On a casual no, bro, it's like usually on a Tuesday. It's a random fucking day, and like you're just mad. So like yeah, you're gonna be fucking bloated. Yeah, you're gonna be feeling like shit because you just fucking drank on a Tuesday. That's your fucking fault.
Well, here's
But
my favorite one is where it's just like, well, how do you eat? I eat pretty clean. So like, here we go.
yeah,
It's like
I hate that
here we
word.
go.
I
So
hate that
people
fucking
always like, I think people, you know what it is? Like a lot of us focused on the global things, but we don't pay attention to the micro things so much.
yes.
And I
Yeah.
oftentimes relate like I say diet and finances are literally like the same ballpark.
Mhm.
So I'll take finances for example, right? Typically, big things that people pay for is going to be their rent. Their mortgage is a big thing. Most people are going to have, let's say, like a car note. If you got health insurance, car insurance, like these are big bills that most people exist with.
Yeah.
A a a, a responsible adult. That's primarily what you're going to deal with.
Mhm.
So the things that some people might start missing is, yeah, it's spent $15 on this meal out here, or I bought this random shit from Target. You know how, especially women, they fucking love Target. You send them to
That
Target.
excuse me. It is Target.
Target, excuse me,
Target.
Target. And then it's just like little spendings that it's like mindless spendings.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that people do with dieting. So it's like they'll look at their meals and be like, "Oh, I ate clean today. Probably had a really decent breakfast. Probably had a really decent dinner,
Mhm.
or let's even say lunch, because sometimes dinner gets a little lost for people. So people will be mindful of their breakfast and their lunch, especially if they're working, let's say, a casual schedule, which is like the 9 to 5, 10 to 6, 7 to 3,
Mhm.
give or take around there. So all of that fits within the construct of their day. So they can
Yeah.
kind of, structure it a little bit better. Now, once they leave that and then they get outside of the construct of a work day, that's when the shit just goes all over the place.
Mhm.
So ideally, my belief system is your biggest meals should start from the morning and start to taper down as it goes into the day.
Yeah.
Give or take, of course, like maybe when you're training or when your work schedule is, but when we're getting lower into the day, we're not going to need as much food to store within the body because naturally our activity level is going to start decreasing as we get closer to rest.
Mhm.
So you really don't have to overindulge as much, but you should eat big in the morning because you have this whole day to expend energy of.
Yeah.
Um, and I think if more people were just mindful of outside of their big meals, pay attention to the little shit that you're doing. Are you drinking water? That's a big one that a lot of people miss on.
Mhm.
So when I tell people like you should try to drink at least 100 ounces of water, like just basic, they're like,
Yeah.
damn, 100 ounces is so much. And then the first thing I'll ask them like, how many how many hours a day do you think you're up? So a lot of people sleep like shit, which is a funny part. It's 24 hours in a day. Most of you sleep like shit. So chances are, let's say you're sleeping 5 hours, 6 hours if you're really good, but let's say you're sleeping 5 hours. That means you're up for 19 hours of the day. That's mad time to drink 100 ounces of water.
Yeah.
So
There's
if you
certain
actually structure it the right way, I tell people just drink literally like 10 ounces. If you drink 10 ounces of water every hour, you'll be at 100 ounces in 10 hours. Easy money.
yeah.
But we're just so mindful, well, we're mindless and we forget about the actual drinking aspect of it or structuring it, that we just overindulge it, forget about it, overindulge it, forget about it. And it's just like water like a plant, just little by little, and just continue to keep yourself refreshed and hydrated throughout the day instead of trying to go to like these big extremes.
Yeah. I think so a quote or a thought that I kind of have. Show me your habits and I'll show you who you are. Like all the things that you do day to day, like tell me which direction you're going, where your priorities are, and what you want to do. So if let's just say my habits and like what I call them laws, because I try to make them non-negotiable, and these are the habits that I do every day to make sure that I go in the right direction is try to sleep 7 to 8 hours a night. I try to eat to calorie maintenance. I eat enough my body weight in protein. I have enough water. I mean, yeah, 100 ounces or whatever like that. I'm not good at measurements, but I drink until I fucking piss clear. That's as much water as I fucking drink. Okay, whatever the fuck that is. Okay, but
Drinking those nutrients.
yeah. I get my nutrients in, and I piss clear. I got it out. Okay, whatever. But have a veggie or a fruit at every meal, and I make sure that I have a probiotic every day, just for gut health stuff, because I know I don't eat enough of the nutrients that I necessarily need. Those are non-negotiable habits. Those have helped me become who, like, change the way that my body functions, change my performance levels, and changed everything else, because that was my goal. Now, if your goal is to do exactly what I did, but your habits are not aligned with what it is and your direction, you're never going to get to where you're going to go. So your habits must, in the direction of what you're going to do, must match your intention. Okay. Must always match your intention. And I think people lose that. And just like you're talking about, the habits that you do daily compound. They
Yes.
all compound weekly. So like if you ate clean this day and you ate like shit, and you ate clean again, like you have to look at that in the grand scheme of things of this is why you're not succeeding in what you're trying to do, is because you're looking at a very microscopic fact, which you should be looking at the details of everything, but you're not looking at the details throughout the week or
Yes.
throughout your entire week. So details do matter, making sure that you follow the correct habits that align with the goal that you want to achieve, and making sure you're hitting them every fucking day will provide success. Like you said, like with and we talked about this a little about before about our finances and so that, like putting your money in a fucking Roth account or putting your money in these accounts. Again, I'm not the most financially literate person in the fucking world. I just opened up a fucking Roth. But like money is making money, because what you're doing is that you're just letting it sit, you're letting it compile, and then it is growing as you're doing it. Think about that as like your habits. If you continuously put, okay, your habits into the fucking bank every single day, fucking piggy bank will fucking explode. But if you're skipping that, you're slowly inching away. Sooner or later, you'll start taking the money out, taking the money out, taking the money out. Um, yeah, so it's very interesting. Like, just make sure that your habits align with your direction, and always think about it as a grand scheme of long term. Also, so thinking about it in such a tunnel vision of a day thing. Like, I ate clean today, cool. I really don't. I hate that. You don't understand how much I hate that shit.
I
I
hate
ate clean
eating
today.
clean.
I really don't give a fuck. What did it look like the last 7 days?
Yes.
Like that's one of my like PT pet peeves. Like I really don't give a shit like what you ate today. Like show me what at least 2 days of your fucking week is and a weekend, and I'll tell you if you're gonna succeed or not.
Or this specific meal, because sometimes when they
Yeah,
say eat clean today, they're just speaking of a specific meal.
a specific meal. Like you ate a salad. All right, cool. Did what else? Oh, I just ate a salad. Okay, you didn't eat enough calories. I'm telling you that right fucking now. To like even survive, you didn't eat anything unless you drench that shit with fucking like I don't know, vinaigrette and whatever. I don't eat salad, so I don't know what the fuck motherfucker. But they drench that shit with like meat and stuff like that or whatever. But yeah, I think we can talk about the concept of eating clean later and like what that kind of has to do with the fact that people aren't succeeding because they don't understand what clean eating actually is. It just means that they're eating less or they're eating good stuff, but they might not be eating enough. But that's a whole nother fucking story for
Yeah,
another
you can
fucking day.
actually be eating clean and being underfed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll
Yeah.
be for another. I
That's it.
like what you said about your habits like being compound interest. I thought that was a really unique way to put that.
Mhm.
And like you said, with your habits lining up with your intentions, oftentimes when I'm listening to people and what their goals are for themselves, and then I start listening to the habits that they have,
Yeah.
oftentimes it's misaligning.
Uh-huh.
So you'll hear someone say, I want to lose weight, I want to drop body fat, and you're listening to how their life is structured. They're missing meals. So then when they're missing meals, they actually end up more hungry, so they're overindulging by the time that they're eating. So
Yep.
there's an unhealthy relationship with eating there. And the
Mm-hmm.
funny part is, like, excuse me, people will look at like a meal that I have and be like, "Damn, you eat a lot." But I'm like, "Well, I'm eating quality. Like I'm eating a
Yeah.
lot of quality in this meal, and I
Mm-hmm.
love sweets. Like I indulge in stuff like that."
Bro, I just
Um,
had a spoonful of fucking peanut butter like 20 minutes ago.
700 calories right there.
Well, I needed the calories. I was hungry. I'm gonna eat that shit. I'm gonna fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I like that, like, cause you're aware of even knowing when I probably wasn't eating enough. Now I'm gonna, take a
exactly.
little extra calories in. We're about to jump on this call, so we're not gonna be eating during our podcast and shit
Yeah.
like that. So, but with a lot of people, that me eating big or eating a lot is like this is a quality meal, well balanced between fat, carbs, protein.
Yep.
So me eating 500, 600 calories in this sitting is nourishing me
Yeah.
to where me, and the funny part is, like, the plate looks thicker, but you take someone that's eating a bag of chips and it's like 600 calories in this bag of chips loaded with sodium, but the
Yep.
optic of that doesn't look like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Or the optic of you eating a pint of ice cream from Ben and Jerry's doesn't look like a lot, but the optic of me with this big ass piece of steak, like 6 ounces of rice and veggies, which I haven't been doing the greatest with, but I've been doing a lot of fruit. Um,
Nice.
but ultimately, like, looking like the optic of it is like you eat more than me, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like I just eat more nutritious foods than you.
Yeah.
So your calorie count could actually be way higher than mine, but I just have more dense food
Yeah.
when you have more like empty food.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times is like some of these meals that people are eating is high caloric and low in nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
So it just leaves you full, and if anything, it just leaves you craving that flavor or the sugar that comes from whatever that meal is. And next thing
Yeah.
you know, you're 1,800 calories deep
Yeah. I mean, have
compared
you
to
ever?
1,800 calories deep and hungry,
Yeah.
opposed to me 700 calories that eat deep and I'm full.
Yeah.
I'm
Have you ever
content.
ate? Yeah. Have you ever ate one Oreo?
Never. Why
Who
would I
the
do that?
fuck? Who the fuck would do that? So like, you're gonna fucking indulge every time you do it. I mean, it's a natural thing for sugar and salt to indulge people, and I have this
It's
this
designed
battle all
for
the
you
time,
to, especially
bro.
these fucking packaged foods.
Oh my god, so fucking good, man. So fucking good. But it's I have this battle all the time because I'm the same as you. I like to have a very big breakfast because I don't eat a lot throughout the day. Like I'll snack and so I'll eat a big breakfast and I'll eat a big dinner and I'll snack throughout the day and I'll match the total that I need calorically, depending on training or not, whatever.
Yeah.
But like I had this talk the other day. I was like, bro, like I like, yeah, what do you eat for breakfast? You like, you look good, whatever, blah blah blah. Yeah, like I have like 6 eggs, like a cup of egg whites, spinach, and then like 2 cups of rice, or like maybe a cup and a half, depending if how much I'm training or not. And they'd be like, that's 6 eggs? You gotta watch your cholesterol. I was like, motherfucker, I just saw you eat a whole pizza and
Yeah.
2 beers, and you're gonna tell me to watch my cholesterol? Like, you can get the fuck out of here. So like people don't, it's a misunderstanding of nutrition. And it happens all the
Yeah.
time where they think bigger is better or bigger is worse just because it looks bigger on the plate. But it's just the amount of calories that come into like a fucking cup of rice isn't the same as the amount of calories that come into like a piece of pizza. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not the same, even though they might be like size wise or something like that. Like stimulating your eyes and kind of seeing it's a little bit different. So it's it's hard to kind of teach that, but I guess also our job is to call people out on their habits and call people out on their nutrition liabilities, because it's a fucking liability. Some of these people trying to teach them how to eat properly, but once they understand how to eat properly and form the habits to do it. And again, this is why like you want to form the habits, because sooner or later it just becomes easier. Like if you eat like probably your body weight in protein, you probably won't be hungry. And it's just a natural thing. But you also like get the foods that you need, because like that's a shit ton of meat, a shit ton of eggs. Like it's all nutrition stuff. It's very hard not to get a shit ton of get protein and still be fucking hungry as shit. You know what I mean? Like who's eating more than who you like after 8 ounces of steak, like you're getting a meat sweat. Like there's no way you're eating 12. You know what I mean? But like you can have a whole pizza pie. That shit's easy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
So
true.
shit's easy. So yeah, I think visually stimulating people, like I mean, food, like just takes the awareness away of like how much you're actually ingesting. You know what I mean, and people don't also have a concept of like how many calories like they are, because they don't track their food, which is also a good habit to create. And it doesn't have to be a forever habit. Like I tell a bunch of my clients, like, I need you to understand. I don't need you to do this forever, because like some people they can't function like putting it on their phone and then seeing it. But
Yeah,
like
it
it's
gets
good to
addictive.
understand what a cup of what 4 ounces of chicken looks like, or how many calories that is, how much broccoli like even counts as a fucking calorie. Like you would be
Yeah.
amazed how much broccoli you can have and it doesn't count as shit.
Spinach,
So
all of those greens like that and shit. And
yeah,
they have a lot of fiber and a lot
a
of
lot of
vitamins
fiber.
and stuff.
Yeah.
So
So
and
yeah,
it's to me it's amazing how misconceptions, whether it's like as much as you know, like a lot of things are a myth. Like once the situation arises, people naturally like take their brain there. Like
yeah.
the eggs and cholesterol thing is still a thing for some people.
Hmm.
Like that's really still bread is bad for you. It's still a thing for some people.
Yeah.
Rice is bad for you. It's still a thing for some people. Eggs and rice to me is like two of the most complete things you can possibly eat.
Bro, bro, I fucking love it. Like it, like I'm to the point that I get excited to eat that shit, just because I'm
Yeah.
like that's all I have. But it's yeah, it is cool to like not cool, but it sucks because I think it's just these stereotypes and these myths that people have ingrained into society from like the misconceptions that you hear from like people on Instagram, from the old school, or people just not educating themselves enough in nutrition, but then they want to teach you how to eat right. Because like
Yes.
their friend fucking Karen like was on an all juice diet and she lost weight. I was like, all right, cool. But like once like is Karen happy? No, nobody's fucking happy on an all liquid diet. When was the last time somebody was happy on an all fucking juice diet? Nobody.
And Karen probably rebounded from that too.
Oh yeah, real quick. Like
Karen definitely rebounded from that diet, and that part gets left out of the story, or she's currently going through it now. Is like, talk to me in 3 months to see how long that
exactly.
lasts.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
so it's like we don't get phased by things like that. But it is important for people just like you want to look at the whole picture.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Evan's eating 6 eggs and egg whites, spinach, all this, blah blah blah. But listen to what his habits are on a daily basis. To your movement,
Yeah,
how
I mean,
often you're moving, the way that you're training. So you're creating this body for yourself that is burning and using your food as energy opposed to living a lifestyle to where everything you're ingesting is just going to sit in storage.
yeah,
Your body is promoting um your energy as efficiency.
yeah.
Like
And I
that's
think
that's literally what you're trying to get to.
and that's it took me a while to understand that concept, even though I mean went to school for it, but it took me a while to understand the concept of actually using food as energy. Like I need to eat this to be able to perform this well. Like if I don't have X now, like I'm gonna cramp up when I'm doing Y. So like I don't think about food. I mean, I still enjoy food, like who doesn't? But I start thinking about food in terms of like how can I use this to become better tomorrow? And
Yeah.
I think it's also the instant gratification of um food, of eating clean, of eating bad. Like it's we have a as a society we have ADD when it comes to shit, and people want to be instantly gratified, and they don't see the long-term value that comes from doing the habits and stuff like that. Discipline is freedom. Like once you have discipline into your life, like then you can start doing other shit. But once it's out of whack and out of alignment, you're stressed out because all your habits are all over the fucking place, but you want to get to over here, but there's no structure. But if there was a structure, you will get there so much fucking quicker and you will be happy, but then you'll also be free to do the other shit that you want to do. So it's you just gotta lock that shit down. Like what people need to do is take a good hard look at what they do daily. And what they do daily will tell them what the fuck is going on. Like you just look at, I wake up in the morning, like write this shit down. I did this to be 100%. Write this shit down. What do you do first thing when you wake up? We'll tell you what's the most important. You get coffee? Cool. I need fucking coffee. Cool. You brush your teeth. You do this. You do that. Do every single habit. How much money do you spend when you go out? Do you go out to when you go out to Target? How much extra money do you spend on bullshit? If you go down this street, do you usually stop to go get coffee? Yeah. Maybe but like if your thing is to save money, maybe go down another street so you don't stop to get coffee.
Yeah.
Or maybe like worst case, like I mean, people don't realize. Have you looked at like the facts and figures of people who go to Starbucks every single day? How much money they lose?
Oh, I can imagine.
Bro, it's like almost like $1,000 a month just in coffee. I mean, if they go almost every day, I might be over or I don't know. It's close.
I'm sure there's some people out there spending $1,000 a month on Starbucks for sure.
On Starbucks coffee.
A decent cup of coffee from Starbucks is gonna be like $4.
Exactly. So and let's be 100% honest, nobody's spending fucking $4 at Starbucks. Nobody's $4. They're getting the fucking the iced latte with like I don't even know what the fuck. I don't go to Starbucks. So like the cream and like I mean the guy who does the fucking Salt Bae, but it's not salt, it's like sugar and shit. I don't know, bro. But like
let's take the compound interest that you use, right? So if you have a habit of yours where you're buying coffee from Starbucks every day, and let's just use $5 as the example.
Mm-hmm.
So you're spending $5 every day at Starbucks. You religiously go because this is a part of your habit now.
Yeah.
It will use like a 5-day work week. So $5 multiply that by 5 days. That's $25. You multiply that by a month because there's 4 weeks in a month. That's $100 spent on Starbucks alone.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And this is lowballing it, obviously.
Yeah.
Because like we said, there's people who go to Starbucks every day, and you're talking about buying like frappuccinos and all this other stuff like that. Shit adds up. Like a normal, I would say an average that order for Starbucks is probably $6-7 for most people.
Yep.
You know, so you just kind of start seeing how this money, and these might be the same person that say I can't afford a gym membership. Well, you spent $100 in coffee.
Exactly.
You know, is coffee something that you desperately need, or is there a cheaper way that you can possibly get the coffee if you really want to drink it every day? Mm-hmm. So you start kind of like looking at where you're putting your habits instead of, let's say, making your habit going to Starbucks and drinking this extra sweet drink every morning. Maybe you might devote that time into journaling or reading or doing a morning walk, or, you know, changing it up a little bit. And this is like what you say of your habits are now your compound interest. And this isn't to knock coffee drinkers, because there's nothing wrong with drinking coffee, but we're just using an example here.
I need it.
I personally don't drink a lot of coffee. I go through waves of it. I'm personally in a wave now where I'm not drinking a lot of coffee. I've been doing more like kind of like taking it back old school, water in the morning and like lemon and shit like that.
Good
and I've actually been waking up earlier, which I can talk about with my habits too.
Yeah.
So just looking at the compound interest of what habits you're doing, it lets you know presently where your mind state is and where you're headed.
Yeah.
So I'll take me for an example now. Now I have this thing where I'm getting to the gym literally like 30 to 45 minutes before my first session. And that's been changing the game for me. Like in my morning routine, like everything, I just feel more calm and at peace. So knowing that my first session starts at 6:00 on my early mornings, knowing I want to get to the gym at 5:15 or 5:30, it's already making me go to sleep earlier the night before. So I'm limiting my distractions earlier. I'm setting my boundaries a little harder earlier. And it's creating this structure that I want to be up at like 4 in the morning or 4:15. This is just how my day works.
Yeah.
And I want quiet when I wake up. I want to allow my brain to just like be with myself. And I feel like and I'm realizing too that I do some of my best thinking in the early times. So that's what's been allowing my brain to formulate a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
So by the end of the day, like I'm talking to so many people, I'm doing work here, I'm programming. So, I'm scrambled with a lot of these daily factors that are playing in. Fresh in the morning, it's just me and myself.
Yeah.
So I get to start my day before everybody else does.
Mhm.
And that's really, really been changing the trajectory of not only my day, but even like how my week looks. So now it's like I have certain days where I know these are my workload heavy days. And then the days that I know my workload is lighter, I can fully disconnect a lot better now.
Yeah.
So it's making me more productive on my work days to where it's not like the days where I have a lighter load or the days where I'm really not supposed to work that I'm taking work energy into those moments. So it's like
Mhm.
I don't even want to say I'm going harder. I'm being a lot more productive in the hours that I set for myself to be productive.
Yeah.
And then the hour that I'm setting for myself to just like recharge and relax, I'm being more efficient in those hours. And this has been like a thing for me over the past month. And I'm like, damn, this shit is dope. Cause
Yeah.
now like I created this structure, what like we talked about earlier, and like now I have this discipline is where I know Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays, primarily Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, those are like my heavy training load days. And Wednesday I have a heavy training load in the morning, but the rest of the day is dedicated to like business work and programming. And this is when we do our podcasts and stuff like that. So it allows my mindset to shift into this other gear.
Yeah.
And those other days it allows me to try to live in like coach mode.
Mhm.
And now I create these habits around that. My biggest training days are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, naturally, because I'm already in that zone. So I'm gonna live in that zone. And so that even plays into how I'm going to eat, how I'm going to sleep, because I know this structure sits within the discipline that I created for myself here.
Yeah.
And now I start creating this rhythm. And like Wednesdays and Fridays, I know those are big days where I want to work on the business and I want to do a lot of my online work. And now I'm being more productive in that. So now my is opening up because I created this structure for them to open up in the days that I designed for them to be that way.
Mm. I like that. What made you kind of like click and be like, I need to lock this down more?
Um, as a business, like you're constantly looking at how ways you can improve and how you can grow. And I was like, what's the capacity and the ceiling that I have within the structure that I have here? And I looked at my days and realized what are my quote unquote training days or my, you know, in person days and what are my, work days that are not so much in person. So in that, it allowed me to kind of look at how I want to be productive in these days. Because I want to be productive in these days in both ways. But
Yeah.
it's just a different mindset of what productivity looks like on these days.
Mhm. I
So
get
I'm
that.
like, if I'm already doing the early mornings here, get in the gym. Um, it's a earlier time slot, and your brain is already moving at certain speeds. There's little things that you can do within those hours while you can be on a computer doing some things before people get in. Have the music going. Our gym is pretty hot. We don't use the AC much, so I can even get the fans going and kind of let the air start circulating, just to create more of a pleasant experience to start my morning. I'm
Mhm.
really big on how I start my mornings because I think I made a post on this like 2 weeks ago. I think a lot of people start their mornings in alert mode.
Mm.
So it's like their alarm goes off, and then a lot of people snooze, and now it's like by the time you're actually up, you have this window of when you need to be out the door or when you need to get things done, and some people push that window a lot.
Yeah.
So naturally you're just kind of like oh shit mode.
Yeah.
So that makes you more irritable. It can for sure make you feel like you're in a rush, and now your body is kind of like in this fight or flight mode but on the higher end of the stress level, and you're carrying that throughout your day,
Hmm.
especially throughout your morning. And for me, I know mornings really set the tone for your day.
Yeah.
So
100%.
for me, I'm like, the more I can eliminate this high alert mode and just kind of have more control over my day by just eliminating certain variables. I know I like to hit snooze. So what I actually do is I'll set my alarm clock earlier than the time that I actually want to physically get out of bed.
Yeah.
So I don't like the idea of hearing my alarm and just jumping straight out of bed. I like to get out of bed at least 10 or 15 minutes after I get the signal like, hey, it's time to get going.
Yeah.
So like I'll hit the snooze another 10 minutes, whatever, and then my body's kind of like preparing itself to get out of bed. And then you kind of go through my morning routine, which I've been, especially over the past year, I've been really good at creating more of a nighttime routine, like preparing my body for rest.
Nice.
Now I'm doing better at creating a morning routine, preparing my body to start. Like I'm literally warming my body up for the day. No
Nice.
different than I would do a workout.
Yeah.
I don't just jump into the workout and let's say I'm doing barbell squats, which I'm not today, but just using barbell squats. And my goal is to do 275 as my working set. I'm not going from, hey, I'm going to barbell squat and just throw 275 straight on the bar.
Hmm.
I'm going to warm myself up to it. Maybe I might do a little ankle mobility, do a little squat patterning work to wake up my nervous system, activate some muscles. I'm doing the same thing when I'm waking up my body is I'm slowly preparing it. I'm allowing my mind to do things. I'm moving in a speed that's comfortable. I'm not like rushing.
Yeah.
I don't like rushing in the morning. That makes me irritable and it just makes me feel like I don't have control over my environment. So that's why I initially started making the switch, and my sleep has been better. My productivity has been better in the mornings. I feel more calm. I feel more like peaceful, and I'm like, yeah, I need to keep doing this.
I like that. I like that a lot. Like I've been trying to slowly start integrating a lot better into having a better morning and night routine. And I don't, so my thing is like I'm always going to be irritable because that's just my personality type. And that's not, I know it sounds wrong. It's just who I am. So I don't think about it in the sense of like calming. I think about it in a sense of being able to, I mean, be productive, but be the best person that I can be that day. So I
Got
mean,
it.
my structure isn't as fluid and as honed in and as disciplined as yours. I would like it to be, but because of just like the normal stresses that I'm going through right now, like trying to wake up a little bit earlier, I read a little bit, I have my coffee at the same time, and then like it calms me down a little bit when I have like the dog like sitting on me as I'm reading. So like that's just a natural thing that I do. I'll journal and I'll get everything before I go to work. I'll go to work, I'll come back and I'll do some work stuff. So a lot of times like I know what my structure is throughout the day, but because like it's always feels like I'm a little bit all over the place, even though I know again the structure, like I feel like I'm not super productive because of like I know I have so much. I have the online stuff on the same day that I have the in-person coaching stuff, and then I have that. So like all my days aren't dedicated. Like I try to dedicate my hours, and it sometimes gets cluster fucked.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a better routine and make that a little bit more of a habit. And that's a habit that I have an issue with right now. It's like sometimes like I guess like I'm running so hot. I'm like, fuck it, I'm not doing anything right now. Instead of like structuring the peace time like you do, like I'll be like, fuck it, I'm not gonna do anything. But then that kind of starts procrastinating everything into the next day. Now the next day I have too much. I have work overload. I have to get stuff done in a certain amount of time, and then compiles. So I guess that's more of a natural, everyday kind of person thing because they're idiots, and so am I. So
Somebody's.
yeah, I'm just fucking. I'm a procrastinator. It gets done, but it'll get done whenever the fuck I want it to get done. But yeah, being a little bit more structured with your time tells a lot. Um, but
That was my goal. Like I wanted to not be so overwhelmed because some weeks I really felt like I was overwhelmed and I felt like
yeah,
I was just getting shit done at the time that I needed. And I'm
yeah,
like, I'm at a space now, and tell myself, in order for me to grow further, I have to be ahead of time. I
yeah.
can't just meet time right where it is. Like I have to be early for things. So
I
even like when I'm looking at my business, right? I look at whatever capacity I'm working with, I want to be able to have a structure that I can work of more than the capacity that I have.
yeah.
So now when I have that new level of capacity, I already have a new structure that can withstand more capacity that exists.
Uh,
So I continue to look at ways. I don't try to structure myself to work at the capacity that exists. I try to structure myself to, if I had more than that exists on this plate now, could I handle it?
I like that.
So
Oh,
and I guess that's taking it just to my mindset with everything now is just being like, be over prepared for the scenarios that's already here. Because if I'm over prepared, now when things happen that I can't see happening, that just kind of happen on the fly, it's easier to adjust with.
yeah,
It's literally like how we do with clients and stuff like that, and we're seeing the same people all the time. It's like we 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 know what everybody's level is, we know what equipment we have, we know what things that we can possibly run into. So
mhm,
it's like you're prepared for the worst.
yeah,
You're over prepared in these because you've been doing this for so long, so you just kind of know how to operate and maneuver these things. So now I took that same structure and I was like, I need to put that into my life and I need to put that into my business to where you're running efficiently with the capacity you have, but in case there's some things that throw you off your course, these things are already taken care of, or you have a structure that allows you to be like, all right, I can take care of this real quick without really over stressing me or whatever the case is. Because at the end of the day, like life is very unpredictable. So these things happen. So
yeah,
if I'm always kind of meeting myself and running right into, I just made it, I'm not preparing for moments to where it's like, fuck, like now
yeah,
I'm like, now this is gonna fuck up my sleep. Now this is gonna fuck up my day that I had here or whatever like that. And it's like I never want to feel like I'm constantly playing catch up. That's
yeah.
the way I should put that.
I
Yeah, I don't want
also
to feel like I'm constantly playing catch up.
Yeah, I also feel like it's a I like your thought process on being ahead of time, but it also gives you more time to do the stuff that you enjoy because you're being
Exactly.
productive in the stuff. So yeah, I really like that. I really like that concept, and I think it's something that I need to start integrating a little bit more because I feel like I'm getting my work done, but then I don't have the time to develop to do the extra stuff. Like, how can I get Simply Savage better? How can I get the podcast? Like, I don't have
Yeah.
time to do that because I'm not invested into that because of I'm just doing the work instead of doing the work and then allowing my time or giving myself time to do the extra
And
because
then
I
that
don't
takes us
have
to
the
that
time.
burnout conversation that we was
Yeah,
kind of having before you went on vacation.
yeah. It's a
And honestly, dude, like this shit, it takes time, and I have a better structure, and I still struggle with some things in it today for sure. But the structure is a lot better today because it was this little thing that I was identifying, which takes it
yeah.
back to like the habits thing. Just realizing it's like, okay, I do that a lot. What
Mm,
are some steps? I don't, I'm not big on like the overnight switch. I just don't think many people can do things like that. So it's like,
yeah,
what's this one little thing that I can possibly do to just be heading in the right direction without putting too much pressure on this thing needs to be fixed tomorrow.
yeah,
So it's like you're keeping yourself accountable, but you're giving yourself structure or little mini goals to like strive for until the thing becomes a habit. I'll take Duolingo for example. Like Duolingo, lately I've been lazy on it, but I do one lesson a day even if I don't like go crazy on it.
mm,
So now I have a structure to where my day make sure that I do one lesson a day, regardless of what's happening in my day.
Yeah.
Like this, it's a habit for me now to do it.
Mhm.
If and once I create the habit to make sure I'm doing like 5 lessons a day and stuff like how I used to do, then that'll be better. But I did create a structure to where it's like no matter what the fuck happens, you are going to get this one lesson done.
Yeah.
So it's just little things like that. And I know the next step for me is to kind of get ahead of schedule a little better with some programming stuff, because now those early mornings that I'm going in, I want to create those early mornings when I'm getting into the gym to dedicate to like a morning mobility routine.
I like that.
So because now I know like this is one area in my fitness that I'm really, really lacking, because I know there's these areas that I need to spend specific time and like attention to,
Yeah.
but I haven't created the structure to really do it for myself yet. So the first step in me like really owning in on this morning mobility routine is just start getting to the gym earlier first. Like plant the seed for it.
Yeah.
So now when I'm getting in there, like recently I had to catch up with some program, and it's actually my birthday weekend. My birthday's
Oh
Friday.
shit. There you
Yeah.
go. Happy
Just
birthday.
turning 31. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I've been using that time to just kind of get a little ahead of schedule with work. So when
Yeah.
I was looking at it, I was like, if I didn't need to get a little ahead of schedule on work, because Friday is like my work from home day, I'm
Yeah.
trying to do stuff so I can relax on Friday. I'm like, I just created the capacity that I can actually pull off this morning mobility shit on
Mm,
like my regular schedule.
yeah.
So it's just like little things like that, like my nighttime routine, just to wind down from a long days of work. That was a bitch to do in the beginning. I just kept fucking it up,
Hmm.
but I just stayed at it. Little things that I started to implement, and now it's like a regular thing for me.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to do the same thing with my morning. I'm trying to do the same thing with certain work constructs. I'll be honest, when we first started the podcast, that was hard for me.
Yeah.
But
Same.
it did help, being that I knew I had to meet you at this specific time. Like you even look at some of the earlier episodes, I was like all over the place sometimes. I'd be at my girl's house here, lighting was crazy here, this and that, blah blah blah. And then like we just kept doing it, and I created a discipline and a structure to where now I know exactly how to prepare for this throughout my week, because it's something that's regular now. So
Yeah.
these things take time at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
you just have to, like, kind of like how we tell our clients, we just have to plant the seed,
Hmm.
create the discipline for that seed that you planted, and allow the grace period of fucking it up,
Yeah.
getting it right, fucking it up, but the seed is planted already.
Yeah.
And then after a while, it becomes like, oh shit, this is something that I normally do. And the compound interest is that is going to be whatever your intention was set out when you planted that seed. Over, like, you have the habit to now reach the goal that you set for yourself. So it's gonna fucking happen eventually.
Yeah.
So now I planted the seed for morning mobility to be a thing,
I
and
love
it's
that.
already kind of starting. Or that morning routine of having that quiet time to allow my brain to think and do these. And this is where I started getting some of the ideas that we spoke about from the podcast and all these things, because like I created the capacity to allow my brain to do these things. And I created the capacity to allow this structure and discipline, because I planted the seed for this intention that I set to grow out over time.
Yeah.
And then that now pushes you into like a new stratosphere. And I'm like, oh shit, this is the key. So the
Mm,
funny part is like I'm giving myself more grace in the process, but I still know what the end goal is. So it's just a matter of like not forgetting that.
yeah.
And then you start to create new goals, because once you achieve goals, you create new goals, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm starting to get a rhythm with this thing now. And then before you know it, your life structure is completely different a year from now because of the seed that you planted.
Yeah. Damn. I love that. And I think it goes back. I think people need to realize how hard it is to create a habit and how long it takes. Because I mean, like you just said, you're gonna fuck it up. And everybody needs to realize they're gonna fuck it up and allow that you need grace. It takes like 66 days to actually become a habit.
Yeah.
Like, and that's consistently. And inconsistently every now and then, and you don't need to be perfect. But
But you know the funny part about that, not to cut you off real quick,
mm,
the inconsistency to me is a part of the consistency.
yeah, it's
Because
gonna
the
happen.
consistency is the intention that you set out. The
Yeah,
inconsistency is just the trial and error in it. It's
exactly.
only inconsistent when you lose the intention and you give up on it.
Hmm.
That,
Yep,
and I think that's where people need to put in their brain now is like, me being inconsistent is a part of the consistency if the intention is set out and a structure is set for me to be intentional in this direction.
exactly.
So you're never really officially off until you just completely forget about it and
Yeah.
don't chase it.
It's like the 80-20 rule that we always talk about. It's just being
Yeah.
consistent about 80% of the time, and then the other 20 you can fuck around. And it's also part of like the trial and error, like you're saying, like you're still trying to be consistent in in the direction that you're going, but every now and then something's gonna come up. It's making sure that when it does come up, that you come right back to it. It's
Yeah.
not like I fucked up once, it's not for me. It's like, all right, cool. I fucked up. What can I change and how can I adapt to make this better and make this more efficient for me? Um, and I think that's very, very important for people to understand. Is it takes forever. You're gonna be consistent and you're gonna be inconsistent. Just be okay with that and always come back.
That's
Like
it.
if it's your goal, you come back. And to reframe this and frame it in the right way so people can listen to it visually, or like if you're watching this on YouTube or listen to it like on the podcast, is it all starts with knowing what the fuck you want.
Yes.
Knowing what the fuck you want, figuring out what habits you currently have that are inhibiting you from reaching those goals, and then taking the ones that you can take out. Like, I mean, you can't take out, I need to pick up my kid at a certain time. All right,
Okay.
cool. How do you adjust around that to reach your goal? Okay, cool. Then that creates the habit. What habits can you put into place? And you don't need to put habits S. Put one.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like Terrence said, like wake up 15 minutes earlier and like go for a walk. Or wake up 15 minutes earlier, do a mobility routine. If that mobility, getting better at mobility, or wake up 30 minutes earlier and I want to read 10 pages of a book. Like you don't have to create 6 or 7 other habits that just create more fucking wildfire for your life. Pick one thing, do it. Make it a fucking habit to the point that you don't even have to think about it. And that's the point of a
Exactly.
fucking habit. It's not even thinking about it. Like it just happens. That's literally what it is. That's what it is. So create it, cement it, put another fucking habit into there. But again, just know that you have to adapt to whatever situation comes into life because I mean it's fucking life. So make sure you have a clear vision. Like you can't complain about losing weight and then do the other shit and then not know about it. Look at your fucking vision, figure out what you're currently doing, and then take some things out that you currently need to take out. That you can take out the unimportant fucking shit. And then go right back to the middle and then start creating habits that can help you reach your goals and compound correctly. And what the worst the best and worst thing that can happen is that the habit doesn't get you to where you need to go. Cool. But you at least did something consistently
Mm-hmm.
too. Like you just trial and error. Maybe like reading 10 pages didn't get you anywhere because you have a shitty fucking attention span and didn't read any of those books. All right, cool. Maybe a podcast will be easier for you to
Yeah.
actually receive that information and do that instead. Or an audiobook or whatever like that.
Yeah. So
So,
literally, you can transition your habit
and you can
because
transition
now
that
you
too.
learn from this one habit that this is going to, oh, this didn't work here, but now it opened your mind to a variation of that habit that you
Yep.
created, in where it's like, oh shit, this works better for me. Like for
Hmm.
me, reading is a habit that is just hard for me to keep. So I
Yeah.
do a lot of listening. I'm a very auditory person. I'm a very hands-on person. So I learned that about myself.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh shit. So I can, maybe my version isn't reading all the time. Maybe my version is going more as an audio route because that just fits better into just how I operate as a person. It's
Exactly.
not right or wrong. It's what works for you in that case.
Exactly.
You
And I
know,
mean,
so yeah, go ahead.
yeah, you can get like these fucking ideas from other people. Like I just said, I read. I enjoy reading because it also calms me down. You know what I mean? Like, even though I'm waking up in the morning, I'm drinking coffee, I'm reading a book, like it calms me down. Like having something in my ear and having so much feedback all the fucking time, like kills me. So that doesn't work for me. But you might work for Terrence, like he said. So giving these trial and errors, asking questions, figuring out what other people do that have reached the goals that you want to achieve and figure out what habits work for them, trying them and then being like, all right, this doesn't work. How can I tweak it or how can I make it work for me? Is, I mean, exactly what coaches do anyway. So that's what
Yeah.
we have to do. So, yeah, I think creating the habits first comes from understanding what the fuck you want and then working backwards.
And then in terms of the working backward, like your patterns, that's what you want to
Yeah.
pay attention to. So
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes, like especially people that are very hard on themselves, like let's say they slip or that inconsistency that we spoke on, and then they think they fucked up. What is this like? If your pattern, this happened with an online client recently, like she's been going through like a hard time recently.
Mm-hmm.
She shows up every fucking week, bro.
Yeah.
Really amazing person to work with. This is what a dream of an online coach or just a coach in general looks for in a client.
Mm-hmm.
And then she comes to me like, "Oh, coach, it's been a rough week. I fucked up. I missed two workouts out of like fucking 30
Yeah.
straight that you did. I'm perfectly fine with that. Like you're a human. It's okay."
Exactly.
So it's okay because I know the pattern of how you operate.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna bounce right back into this. Lo and behold, she caught right back up, right into the rhythm of what she normally does. So it's like these things happen, and I don't look at someone having an off day. I look at the pattern of someone having off days. I don't look at someone messing up the routine once. I look at what the pattern of this routine is. That's what
Mm-hmm.
starts to bother me. So it's just like, okay, I'm noticing a trend here.
Yeah.
And if the trend is not in a positive way or a effective way, then we need to start seeing what factors are causing that trend to start moving in the opposite direction that we're intending to. Because I know you're intending to move in this direction, but whatever factors are in your way is not aligning you to do that. So now let's have a conversation.
100%.
Someone comes in and is like, "Oh man, I feel a little weak today. I don't know what's going on." It's one workout. I saw the last 5 workouts you did. It was pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm taking a note on it, but I'm not overly stressing.
Yep.
You do this 2 weeks in a row, raising an eyeball. 3 weeks in a row, it's like, all right, something's clearly going on here.
Exactly. But
So these are
yeah.
things that I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking at just that one day. I'm looking at your pattern. So, like Evan said, you want your habits to be automatic, but
Mm-hmm.
you want your habits to be automatic. Well, habits that are automatic that are effective for you and productive for you. You
Yep.
don't want the automatic habits that are debilitating or regressive.
Yes.
So autopilot is actually a good thing if it's intentional, if all the habits are moving in the direction that you're intentional with. But autopilot is a bad thing when you have habits that are completely misaligning with what your actual goal is for yourself, but you don't recognize that these habits
Yeah.
are misaligning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's always good to look back. I mean, it's always good to look back and then look at exactly the trends. And we talked about the long-term effects of everything happening and how it compiles and how it grows. You want to make sure that the habits give you, like, you're putting in the good habits and growing as quickly as you can. I mean, instead of
Yeah.
putting in like the semi good habits and like you're growing a little bit here and there, like you can be giving a little bit more effort. Like instead of waking up 5 minutes, 15 minutes, and that gives you a little bit more time to
Mm-hmm.
snooze and hit the stuff. Like create the habits that are actually going to be good for you, that will actually give you the best return on your investment too. Yeah, I mean, because like what are habits? You're investing into yourself. So
Bam.
if you're not investing the right things, then you're gonna see what's gonna happen. And a good quote that is because that somebody says, like, your body is a direct reflection of what you do every day. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So like if you're one of those people that continues to struggle to gain muscle, lose weight, X, Y, and Z, continues to bitch about money when this and that, like, and you don't understand what the fuck you're doing, like it's a reflection
Mm-hmm.
showing you what you got going on, literally right in front of your face. You just don't want to look in the mirror and see it. So work backwards. Figure out what the fuck you want, take out the shit you don't fucking need, and just create the habits that will give you the best return on your investment. Literally it.
Simple, cut and dry there, guys. Anyone watching this video, I want you to just take all the information that was shared here and just identify identify what your patterns look like, identify what your lifestyle looks like, identify what your habits look like, and see what you can do to take more control of these scenarios. There's things in our lives that we have control over, there's things that we don't have control over. So, knowing the things that you have control over, what changes can you start making in those things today? Don't hyper focus on things that you don't have control over, but focus on the things that you do have control over. So now we can start moving the trajectory of where you're intending to go within yourself. So
Mhm.
identify your habits. That's simple.
That's a
Identify your
bare
habits.
minimum. Bare minimum. If that's the only thing you get out of the hour talk that we just had, is just figure out what the fuck you got going on. Identify what's important, identify what you're doing, and then you can kind of just figure it out yourself. I mean, then you're like, oh shit, like I spend an extra fucking $150 on food I don't fucking need because I go out way too much, and then I'm bitching about not being able to afford X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, we're gonna
Congratulations.
talk on the finances one day, because that's the monster.
That is a
The
monster.
finance is one of the monster. A lot of people get caught up into, dude. A lot of
Yep.
people don't money manage.
Well, they don't money manage, but they also want to look cute on fucking Instagram, and then they bitch about their day to day and stuff like that. It's like, cool, you want to look cute and stuff like that, but how much money do you actually got in your bank account? You know what I mean? I don't have a lot. I'm not saying like I fucking do. I'm just saying.
Like in terms of responsibilities, things, knowing what your intention is and what's
Yeah,
important to you, that kind of leads back into like the comfort crisis conversation that we had.
exactly.
Episode 2. Make sure you go check that out on
Yeah,
our
check that out.
YouTube.
That just dropped today. That's how far fucking
Yeah.
along we are right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I really love this conversation, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, set those notifications so you can be alert anytime we drop a new episode.
Yeah,
We'll be
do all
coming to
the
you
things.
every week, guys. Thank you for another episode of the Building Savages podcast.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. And appreciate you guys for listening.
Absolutely. This thing is only going to get better.
Yes, sir.
See you next week, guys.
Wow.